Hello folks, this is Marcus again, and today we are going to create our very first prototype. See, this is gonna be really simple and I will explain a lot of little small details. So from this explanation, I expect you guys to do your own prototypes. So here we have these three dots, they are named pagination. We can navigate through the screens using the pagination, and we can navigate as well with these buttons, links, so we can go ahead, we can come back. And this application, it's a bakery application, so we will create together this logotype and then work those imagery, title, text, and all the things that normally we do. And we have a little copy over here to work to. I recommend you to follow all the steps, and then after following my tutorial, then I recommend you to do your own design, your own prototype, trying different things, approaches, and then you can evolve through this exercise. I recommend you really to do 3 times, because when I'm studying new things that might be design or other stuff, I normally try to repeat, like I do the very first time, and then I do the review 1, review 2, review 3, and then I master that new knowledge, that new information. Okay, so let's start. I will close this window over here, and then let me walk you through every little detail. So here we have the prototype itself, but before, like normally I do, you know me, you know my tutorials, I will walk you through all the little details we need to do before we do our prototype, properly speaking. So let's see. In the last tutorial, I think that I showed you this summary, so I like to explain a little what sort of things we are going to do. So we got here my first prototype. What is this? Prototype. It's a product in phase of testing. It might be a physical product or digital product. The word came from the Greek idiom protos, which means first, and typos, which means type. So protos, typos, prototype. The first type. So there are 3 main kinds of prototypes. There are low fidelity prototypes, medium fidelity prototypes, and high fidelity prototypes. So are prototypes the final product? No, no, and no. Prototypes are exclusively done to test some idea or concept before the releasing of the product. The releasing of a product. So prototype is for this matter. We are going to release a new application that might be mobile, that might be desktop application, a bank system, a ATM system, whatever, television system, doesn't matter. So normally people test prototypes, they test the product before they release, so they can understand the user feedback and they can see if there is something to fix before the release in itself. Okay, so here I brought some inspiration. We have this low fidelity prototype. We can call it wireframe too. So wireframe is static, so doesn't have any interaction. I did these wireframes, low fidelity wireframes, many years ago. It was for a pet shop, if I'm not wrong. And then we have some screen over here, another screen here and here. So this low fidelity, it's good to validate internally. Like we can go to other designers and say, look, I am wondering to do some screens like this. What do you think? And the other people in the team, they can say, I do like this, I do like that. but I recommend you to change it, to change that. So it's important to get feedback from designers, from developers, and so here we have this medium fidelity prototype. Here we are using a sort of text named lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum comes from Latin, if I'm not wrong. So this text, it's like a dead text, a dead language, which means it doesn't change. So people normally they use this text as a text to mark, to be a placeholder, to reserve that space. In the future, those spaces will receive real text. So here we have 3 screens: onboarding, locket, and video locket, something like this. And as you can see, the texts are grays and the buttons are dark grays, and it's not real colors, not real text. It's important to gather feedback from internal teams. Normally, we don't go over there to test prototypes in these stages, medium fidelity with real users. We don't do normally usability tests with those sort of prototypes. Some people they might do, but it's not so common. And here we have these mockups, these polished UI designs. So we have some screens over here, that same pet shop I showed you before here. So the final screen. So with this final UI design, it's possible to test, to link things here, to link things there, and then we can go to the users and to show up and to gather their feedback, if they like the visual, the interactions, if they can find things inside of the application, and then we can change things here, there, and so. So those 3 types of prototypes, they aren't prototypes yet because they are just screens, just draw. It's a hand draw. This one here I did on computer, and this one here too. Let me see something over here I would like to repeat. So low fidelity, medium, and high fidelity, right? Like here, low, medium, and high. So let me bring this briefing, the problem that we want to solve. We are going to create 3-page onboarding prototype for a bakery. So we need to create this low fidelity just to train, right? Hand drawing. Then we will create this medium fidelity, the wireframe. And then the high fidelity, the polished one. And this one here, we will do the interactions, right? So I have here the ideation that I did before to save time. So this one here, it's like hand drawing, but we are going to do this one here into Figma. We won't draw by hand properly, but the idea is to explain it to you that many times we as designers, in my case for example, before I go to the computer, I take my notebook, my sheets, my piece of papers, and then I used to draw things that I want to design on the computer, you know, because here I can have images. I know that I will have text over here, some link, some arrows, pagination, and so I know that here I will go ahead, and here I can come back and go ahead. I will have this mark over here, and then finally I will have the button. So before I do anything on computer, doesn't matter, I go to my piece of paper and I design over there, so I can change things rapidly. And it is good because I will not be like, oh, I didn't like this color, I didn't like this text, I didn't like this spacing, you know what I mean? Because here it's not time yet to take care of those things I just talked a couple of seconds ago, right? And then we are going to do this sort of block framing, and then here it's not the real information, but it's fast, it's a little polished, and I can present to this one here. It's for me, but I can present to other members in the team developers, stakeholders, and people that know what I'm trying to mean by this. Here I will show internally as well, but I can show to other teams. It's possible to imagine. It's necessary to have a little of abstraction, but it's okay, you know, to show internally and externally, not to the final user, to the client. I don't do that in this stage, unless the client, the end user has this background and can understand what I'm trying to say. And here we have this final design. So here it will be possible really to show up things to the final user. But here playing like with templates, right? So then we will talk a little about atoms. Normally we do this. We have a lot of atoms. They are spread, and then we start joining things like molecules. So we group some atoms here, some atoms here too, here shadow and this shape. Here we just leave it as it is, and then we group 2 atoms here too, 3 atoms in this case, and then we start joining atoms. We start getting organisms, like in this case 2 atoms. Here we have 2 atoms, but here we got molecules. Here I grouped 3 of them. I grouped 2 atoms, and here I grouped 2 atoms too. Then we got this template, and it's time to do components. So we got logo, image, title, text, label. Because with templates, it doesn't matter what sort of images I will have. I just bring this square over here, and then whatever image can be placed here. Here is the same thing. You know, I can change this color. I can hide this arrow too. I can change colors over here. It will be easier. Like here, I can change the properties of this button too. Then we got the pages. The difference between pages and the templates, you know, it's with the final colors, final text, real text, and everything is set to go on. And here we can see some states enabled, which means I can click, I can interact with them. Here normally disabled, I can't interact with them, but sometimes I can use this one here to demonstrate that I can interact with that, but that isn't selected at the moment, if you know what I mean by that. And then finally we got this prototype, because normally it depends on the company and the designer, but here normally designers we like to leave this design as reference. We don't do anything more here. And finally here we will mess up. We will do the interactions from here to there, from there to here, and so we can do a lot of messy over here. And then it's time to start. So let's go there, because we have a lot of things to do, right? Okay, so let's start doing those screens. So let's first understand what we need to do. We need to make this shape over here to demonstrate that we have this screen inside. Normally when we have, for example, many time ago, when we used to have images were represented by a square with this cross inside. So it means I have an image over here, then these lines might represent text and pagination and so. And here I have this button, but here I don't. I have arrows and links, buttons, whatever. Okay, let's do that together. But I said before that we are not going to draw by hand. We are going to use this tool here. It's named Pencil. So open it here, select Pencil, and let's make things together. Okay, I will lock all this content, so I won't select anything over here. Now I will come here, Good. I will create a frame. I will press A. I will draw a frame more or less like this. The color that might be light gray, like this one here. Normally I put some shadow just for a matter of eye candy, if you know what I'm trying to say. 16 by 16 here. Here normally I type 1 or 0, and then I make the corners a little round, and it's okay now. So you know frames, if I click once, it happens like this, so I can draw things inside. So I will zoom in, and I will press here. I will draw something like this, really slow. I click and then I go down. Whoa, where is my draw? Oh, it's white. I'm sorry guys, I will change the color over here. It's gonna be black. Now it's time to draw. So I will draw something like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. The intention isn't being perfect, right? It has to be something like if someone did that with his or her own hands. Whoops, something like this. So I can release, then I can draw a little more, I can release, I can draw a little more, and then whoops, it's too unprecise. Whoops, what did I do? Okay, like I said, and drawing. And after I did that, I can press V, and I can even click here and I can diminish its size because it's a vector, right? So I can do some adjustments. For example, I can select things and I can move a little here, a little there to make things a little better. But my intention, like I said before, that was to have something really, if I have done that by hand, something like this, you know, a little unprecise, like I said. Then I want to have the image over here, of course. I will draw something like this. Then I can press V and duplicate. I can use the same approach that I used to use the pencil, the pen tool. Now I'm using pencil, but it's the same approach. It's a little more freehand, but the approach is similar. I am doing vector lines, right? So I will do that B cross. Don't be bothered if your drawing isn't being like this one here. The intention, like I said before, it's not to be perfect. People, they need to look at this and think, oh, it was made by hand. Like I said, a little imprecise, like this. 3, 4, 5 lines, no matter. Okay. Then I have this arrow, right? So I draw something like this. If that's too big, I can zoom in. I can select both lines. I can diminish its size. I can copy this from here to represent that I have a little text over here. Something like this. Cool. I can even group things like this, so they will be the same element. And then I have some dots. I will draw the dots as well. See, something like this and this I can draw. So I have the filled one, and then I will draw that one only with the stroke, the border. Cool. Then I will move things like this. I will move this one. Oops. I will copy, Ctrl V, Ctrl D. Then I select this, and this. Shift A to make a auto layout. Do you remember auto layout? So yes, we can use things like this. So, and then we have our very first wireframe we did by hand. And now we can copy this one to have the next one. So like I said before, I really recommend you guys to do it by hand, but it's good for this tutorial to try that using these tools over here. I'm using my mouse, but in case you are working with a laptop, you can try the trackpad. If you are working with a tablet, do you know tablet? You can work with your tablet and so I'm gonna copy this one here, and I will press Shift and H so I can invert, can do this type of mirror. So now I have the way to go to come back. So here I'm using auto layout like I said before. I'm gonna click twice here, then I will press left arrow on my keyboard. See, I inverted the order of the things. So let me verify. See, the same thing, and then I'm gonna go to the last one. So I can select all those elements, press Ctrl G to group, select this one here, Ctrl G to group. It's easy to move things around now. I will copy this one here like this, and now I'm gonna delete here, right? I'm gonna click twice here again, and then I can invert because I'm using auto layout. I go to my keyboard and I press right arrow, okay, and then I will have the same reference. I will delete this one here too because it's time to design this button. I will zoom in to have more room to design. I will draw something like this. Then I design something like this. Yes, I'm using my mouse. And then I can duplicate things. See, I can press Ctrl D over here. Then I move things down. I zoom in here and I can press enter, right? I select that first, this line, then I press enter. Then I will see this point, and I can move this point like this. To go closer, click twice out of the line, select this one, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, Shift H. Then we move things around like this, and then we move a little down because things, they are not precise like I said before. The intention wasn't to be precise. Press enter, and then we can move things like this. See, it has some style, right? Many people, they do wireframes like this. They create components with those shapes, and then they use to design things, you know, this to get the feedback, the quick feedback from the internal teams. Okay, so now I can draw something like this, just to pretend that I have some text here inside, right? I can delete some lines because I don't want to have a lot of noisy, so I can have a thing a little less cluttered, let's say it this way. So now I will select all these elements. I can Ctrl G to group. Then I select the two of them and I apply auto layout. See? Then I can do this. If I want, I can change the color. I can increase. Let me see if I can increase the stroke. I will click out. I will press and hold Ctrl. Then I will click here out, and I will move like this. Then I release the click. Then I can see the stroke, right? Let's see what's the matter. I can apply stroke on the stroke. Let me see. No, because I have the auto layout. It doesn't work like this. Okay, I will go. I will hit Ctrl Z. Then I will ungroup twice to remove the auto layout. Then I will select like this. Now I can see I have 3 here. I can actually, I ungroup it, all of them, they are ungrouped now, see? Like this. So I can select all of them, and then I see 3 here. I can increase, like if I want to go, I can type 5, for example, and you can see that I increase it. But I'm just demonstrating that it's possible, what is possible to make. Let me group again like this, because if I need to move, I can move. Okay, so we did our very first wireframe low fidelity. So I can go to my developers, to my stakeholders, and to my designer mates, and I can say, guys, see, I was wondering about that onboarding. So those 3 screens, they are named onboarding, and I thought having a link, right, a big image, some text and title, and then a link to go ahead, then having some pagination, 3 dots. In the second screen, we will have a back button and the button to go ahead again, and the pagination will change. And then finally, in the last screen, we are going to have this big button, and the user can click and get to the first page inside of the application. So we can validate, because people, they can say, I don't think we should use the image here. If we could change, for example, gathering the feedback from the team, that would be possible. I will ungroup here. That would be possible to have something like, some people, they could say like, oh man, look, I think that we should change the order. For example, we could have the text on top and the big image that could be something like this. So it's possible to change things before we go to the next step, and then we could change in all the screens. For example, some people, they might say, oh, I prefer to have the pagination over here and the button over here, or they can say, I don't want to have any button. See, it's easy to change, to vary, to make things better or not, you know, according to the team. So yeah, this is the thing I really appreciate, and I do like to do this sort of low fidelity wireframes to validate as quick as possible my ideas. So now we have this one here. Many people, they do too. You can go to Google and Google it, like low fidelity, medium fidelity, high fidelity, whatever. So this one here, it's a little more finished, let's say this way. I press R, then I draw something like this, or I can go with A or R. I'm gonna go with shapes, simple shapes. The color, it's gonna be white. Then to represent my texts, I will draw some rectangle like this. It's gonna be dark gray, something like this. Let me zoom in, let me copy this. I can select both of them, Shift A. See, I'm not concerned to have the thing really aligned. I am not measuring, you know. It's really faster as possible to gather feedback and things like this. So I'm gonna make a gray square or some kind of rectangle to represent that image I told you. I could go with the image this way if I want. I could have some cross here in the middle if I want to, like I told you before, to represent old school wireframes, something like this. Let me see, maybe. Then I select this one here, I press Ctrl G to duplicate, Shift H to invert. I can copy this thing here. I will make, whoops, I will copy like this. I will press Ctrl Shift G once. Then I will do this, you know, just to have these lines not so bold. And then I will change, I will go with the same color that I have here. Maybe I can pick up the color from here. See, just to demonstrate that I will have some space like this. Then I can demonstrate like I have some text over here. But the text, it's not so bold. See, here the color is bold and the thickness is bold too. So it's possible to see, oh, I will have some bold text over here. Something bold, that might be a logotype, whatever thing, no matter. And then text here, it's thinner, if you know what I'm trying to say. And then I can use this or this over here. We'll duplicate like this. I will do something like this. Then make things a little closer. Decrease. Can decrease a little more like this. Then I need to have a arrow, right? I will press P for pen, not pencil now, pen, to have things a little more polished. Then I do something like this and like this. I will diminish the stroke, maybe something like this, cool. Then I can select Ctrl G, select here, Shift A. So I have my auto layout over here. I can move things around. Let me compare with my reference. I'm gonna change the color of this arrow just to make things more easy to understand. I want to have this a little bold. I press K, then I increase a little all the elements. Press V, click twice, press Ctrl, click here, Ctrl Shift, click here, and diminish like this. We can go like diminishing here too. Press ESC. I can make things closer like this if I want. I'm not concerned with the 8 pixels grid, nothing like this. Just being faster. Cool, something like this. Okay, now I want to have that pagination. I press O for oval, ellipse. I draw something like this. I duplicate, select both of them, Shift A, click here twice. Ctrl D to duplicate, and now we have 3 balls, 3 dots. I will pick up the same color that I have here to demonstrate interaction in this case. I will press and hold Ctrl and Shift. I will click in all of them, and they are 10. I'm gonna go with 8 here and 8 here too. Then click out. I will increase the space between them. I'm not concerned yet about the proportions and so. Now it's time to move things like this. Let me zoom out. They are too thin, I don't like. I'm gonna go with 12. Let's see what happens. A little better, I think that I prefer. Whoops. This image is too big. I'm gonna select all those elements. I'm diminishing like this. I'm moving a little up too, little up too. Now I prefer. So I'm gonna select all those elements over here, Ctrl G, right? And now let me duplicate. I'm gonna bring things like this. Now what I need to do, it's really easier. I will select this one here, it's a auto layout. I'm gonna press Ctrl C and V. Then I duplicate it. I press Shift H. Boom. As easy as that. I select this one. I click out. Then I click like twice and twice again. Then I move like this. Cool. And then I will duplicate this frame like this. In this case, that's okay. But let me see what happens. I will cut, select here, paste. Because that was not inside, I don't know the reason, but then I can move things like this. Now it's part of the same frame. Because I move it, this one here, I copied, and then this little part didn't come together. Then we move it here, like I showed before. We delete it here. We draw, pressing R, some button like this. The button will have a really a color with a lot of contrast. I don't need to measure things properly, like, you know. Okay, now we have this one here too. Let's select all of them, press Shift A. We got the auto layout, and we, oops, see, the button is not inside. Sometimes that happens. But what I can do is I select the button here, press Ctrl X, then I click here to select the background, the white background, and then I paste the button. And then I move the button to the direction that I want. See, now we got the low fidelity wireframe. I can prototype this too. I will prototype all the little elements to show you. I can start now. Okay, let's do, I changed my plans a little. Let's do the first prototype. So when we want to prototype things, we come here in this section in Figma, in the upper right corner, we have design. Normally we use this more than other things. We got prototype and we got inspect. This inspect part, I can see the CSS. So when developers will see our Figma's files, they come here to this section, to this part, to see width, height, top, left, gap, colors, and so on. Okay, in this case, see, just colors, yeah, and dimensions as well, no matter. Let's go to prototype, right? So the very first thing I want to do with you guys, it is in your case, it will be none here, right? None. Okay, I will click here. See, in your case, if you didn't do an auto layout or group, it will be a little hard to work. So make sure to come back here. See, in my case, I have a group. In your case, it should be a group too. Then come back to prototype. Here we have interactions. Click here in plus. And then we have this option here, click and then none. Click, I can change. For example, if I open it here, I have on click, on drag, while hovering, while pressing, key, gamepad, mouse or enter, mouse leave, mouse down, mouse up, after delay. We have many options. Let's go with this first one, on click. Then prototype is really simple. I just select it here and I point here. So I did my first interaction, okay? Then I will select this group here. I can click twice, see? And then I do the link back, see? The link came back. And now let me see if I can make this flow works. I'm not sure because I have a frame here. I should go out of the frame. So I will press Ctrl Shift G and the frame will disappear, right? Now let me see. Now we got a problem here. I will delete this arrow and I will explain to you why. Delete this one too. I need to have frames to connect the prototypes, right? So I will press A and I will design a frame like this. Now I can connect things. I will press Alt and I will, oops, not this way. I will draw like this, a frame. Now I will come here to design. It's important. Don't stay in prototype, stay in design section. Then duplicate like this and like this. So we have 3 screens. Now I will move to here. Right click, send back. Okay, then I can adjust a little more, like this, like this. Okay, I can even copy this one here, duplicate, whatever. Then I will move like this too, send back. Do a little adjustments. We can take the same proportions that we have here. I'm gonna go, yes, just like this. Let me see. I like this. Okay. 320480. 320480. Then we can align like this. We see these red lines that will help us to see where we are. I can change it here. 320580. Is that right? I forgot. I don't think so. Send back. Let me see. 480. So 480. Then I move things around. So that's important to mention. We need to have screens. We need to have frames to work with prototypes. Now we will do our prototype. So go to prototype section, click twice to select this group here, and then we go to interactions. Where is that? Show prototype settings. Yeah. No device. No. Flows. We got a lot of messy. Let me see what happened. Ah, now I can see. Interaction. Show prototype. Wow. Frame, that's okay. Interactions. Let me group again. Here I can see, but there I can't see. I don't know the reason. This plus icon, as you can see here, should appear here. So I will make a frame. Let's see. Shift A. Yeah, I converted into a frame. Let's go this way. Groups work too, but I don't know what's going on. So I select here and I connect here. See, I don't connect to the lines. I connect to the screen. The destination will be the screen. So this is the case, destination screen. This little blue thing here, if that appears, move to here, to the beginning of the flow. Then we can name this beginning of the flow. For example, if we select it here, flow 2, we can call like low-fidelity, for example, right? We can name things. So if we select here, we can see this blue line. On click, we will navigate to this frame. But I can name things. For example, I will name this frame low fidelity 1, for example, just to be easier to find things. Low fidelity 2, and then I can have this low fidelity 3, right? Now when I connect things, see, on click is connecting to low fidelity 2. It's easier to see what I'm doing. I will select this thing here. It's a group. I can't see that plus icon, so I will make a frame, Shift A, not a frame, a auto layout, but the mess happened. Let me click here, interactions. I did a auto layout, but I can't see on scrolling. No, over scroll, interaction. Oh, maybe it's the group fault. Can't see plus icon here. Here I don't see. Let me ungroup things. I will come back to design. I have this big group, I will ungroup. Now I can see my frame. See, I can even call this frame like button. Just to make things easier, I can call it pagination, you know? Pagination. The importance of naming things properly. This one here will be a button too. Let me see if now I can prototype. So the thing was that I had a big group that wasn't working, and then I ungrouped things. I make this auto layout, and now I can see what I did. So I will connect back. But like I said before, normally groups, they work. I don't know what's going on, but let's go this way. Pagination. Cool. Let's test our very first prototype. So we have this low fidelity, right? We can select this screen or whatever. Select it here. Then see this little button over here, right? It's present. Click here. We are going to a new screen. This screen is the interaction screen, and here we will see the magic. We should see the magic. I'm not seeing the magic. What's the reason? Let's come back. I will click here in this little arrow. So I thought the magic was going to happen, but the magic is not happening yet. Sad. I'm sad with that. Let's think. I will draw. Let me come back to design, right? Now let me play. Oh Lord. Stroke's not a problem. Let me change the colors. I want to see if things that I'm doing, they are being effective. Let me see. I will select all these lines, and I will make sure that I will lock this low fidelity one, right? Just to make sure that I'm selecting the right things. I will select all the elements, then I will click here, right click, oops, here, right click, so I can select even it's locked, right? Then I will paste, just to make sure that I'm pasting things inside of the page, because sometimes it's over the page but not really into the page. Sometimes it happens. Let me play again. Low fidelity. Not yet. Sad with that. I will do a thing here. Control Shift O. I broke all the lines and I converted them into shapes. I will play again. And nothing happened. I was expecting that to happen, but I don't know what's going on really. So I will come back to prototype. I will let the low fidelity here for a while, and I will try, guys, with you to go to the high fidelity. I will delete all the lines here, the interactions. I will delete this one here too. Oops, just this blue part doesn't exist anymore. Here I will call, let me ungroup here for a while. I'm gonna call this first one mid-fidelity 1. Is here. Oh, it's not a screen. I will select this white part, right? I will convert into a auto layout. So it's gonna be a frame, right? Then I will ungroup. Not yet. Then Shift A, frame. Then I will, let me see, rectangle not working. Yeah, so I will draw, I will ungroup all of them. I will select all of them, Control Shift G, right? Then I will delete this rectangle and I will draw a frame like this. Not in Prototype, but in design. So I design a frame like this. I will delete this one here too, this one here too. I will duplicate this frame, right? I will delete the content inside of it. Duplicate once more, then I can move things like this, send back, align, move here, send back, align. Cool. Now let's try again. I will select this element over here. I'm gonna go to Prototype, interaction. See, we can see this plus button right now. We weren't seeing before. Let's connect like this. On click, navigate to. Let's name things properly like we did before. Mid-fidelity 1. Here we got mid-fidelity 2. And here we got mid-fidelity 3. So now the flow name we select, not click, no, don't click here in this icon. Let's click on the name, flow 2. Let's call medium fidelity. Medium fidelity. Is that right? Medium fidelity. Cool. And then let's make this frame come back like this. And now it's time to test. We select here is medium fidelity. We can click here in this little arrow or click here. So my idea was right. So we can't do prototypes with lines. We have to do prototypes with shapes. Okay. So now we can click here, see what happens. We go to the other screen. Even the screen isn't appearing. We can press R to restart the prototype and then click here. It's working, but it's going to this page and it seems that this page has nothing. Go to design, select all the elements of the frame, but not the frame itself, right? So we select all the things, then we press and hold Shift and click here. The frame will be unselected. Cut, click here in the frame's name, then paste. Now test again. Click here, go to Prototype, click here in this little arrow and see what happens. Click here. That happened because the elements, they were over the frame, but they weren't into the frame. That happens. So now I can go and I can come back. Just like this. Cool, right? Go and come back. And here we can like fit, can 100 fit screen width. Yeah, that's okay. The way it should be. So we can navigate. Let's come back and do the other parts. We can close it here. And then we need to make sure we are in the prototype tab. Then this little one here, we should connect here, right? but this button will not lead us to any place because we don't have the next screen, and that's okay. Let's test. See, if we press shift, we can see all the lines, right? All the lines, not the selected line, but we see the other lines too. If I come here, select this one, I press shift and I see the other lines. Okay, we connect that here. Let's test. Actually, we don't need to close this prototyping window, so we can navigate like this. Same problem here. What we need to do is step back to design section, select all the elements, press and hold shift, click in the background, cut, select, paste, and then see the prototype window is open. So we just select the first screen and we come here. The prototype will be restarted or not. Press R. Now it's restarted with the shortcut R. Now we navigate like this. You see, we are navigating, but now this pagination should work too. So let's link the dots. We go to prototype, we select these little elements, click twice. Only this one here, we connect here. This one here, we will connect to the last one, so we can go ahead and connect here. Make sure to connect the screen and not the elements inside. In this case, this little one here, we connect here, and this one we connect here. This dot connect to this part, and this dot to this part here. Cool. Now let's test. We come back here, press R to restart, and then let's navigate like this. See, we are navigating in our medium fidelity prototype. So this way we can send the link, sharing the prototype with other people in the team, and so we can call a coworker to sit beside us and to show, see, oh, the prototype will work this way. The final project, when it will be released, will work this way. What do you think? People can navigate through these little dots. People can navigate through the buttons too, and so we can get the feedback, right? Cool. So we did our very first prototype. Here in this case didn't work the way I was expecting. I was really expecting to work this way, but it didn't. But we went ahead and we solved the problem, right? Right. So let me unlock here. It's gonna be white again, just a reference. Okay. And now it's time to do this one here, the real one. All right. So in this case, let's think a little about the construction of this thing. We got some items, right? Images and this shape for button. Then we have typography here, several types, and some icons, logotype, arrows, and pagination, right? Let's think what sort of things we can take from what we did so far. In this case, I can use these dots, this arrow, why not? Even this shape, so I can copy things from here. Okay. I can skip this atoms part, right? Then I come back. I will skip. I showed you before how things are organized. I will skip. I can come back straight to this part, right? So I will press A to design this screen. I'm gonna go with 320 by 640, something like this. Cool. I'm gonna call app, whatever name, then we change. I will place this image inside, right? So it's an atom, you know this. I will show the grid. I will change grid by columns. I want to work with only 2 columns. I want to have margin 24, just to change a little bit, gutter 24 too. Okay, it's set, so I can have the images like this. 24 by 24, 24 by 24. So this image, I can call here, for example, image, right? I can have H, as you can see, it's a little round. I can select this image as a placeholder and make a symbol with this, a component. I can call, yes, image, yeah, something like this. I can make a component, see, so I have this component. I will move here and you can see these 4 diamonds. It's the master. I will copy to have an instance. The instance will be here, not the master. The master could be here too in this case. Let's go with the master. Let's see what happens. So I need to have a logotype as well to change. The logotype, let me see the size. It will be 146 by 36. So I will draw a rectangle, 146 by 36. Is that right? The right size? I don't remember anymore. I'm like the dolly from Finding Nemo, Searching Nemo. Yes, 146 by 36. Okay, I'm gonna call logo. I'm gonna make a symbol, so I have the logo here too. I will centralize like this. Can use auto layout, shift A. No, actually no, the logo will be alone. Then I need to have a title. The title, it's gonna be Roboto bold 20. So title Roboto bold 20. Then I can centralize like it is exactly. Then I will do this thing that I like to do to have more space. Okay, I'm not measuring the space yet. Let's see the text. Text Roboto regular 20 regular. The only difference is regular. Cool. And now we got this label. So I'm gonna ungroup twice. I just want to use this element. Let me make it something like, let me see, I will select it here. Then I will change its size. It's gonna be, I will press Shift Ctrl O to make a shape and not a line anymore. Then I will type here like 12 by, I don't know, 18, because I don't want to have any broken numbers, not here, not there, because it will be hard to align after. Select, press Shift A, and you can see the auto layout. We can see the colors like this. Let's see its size. It's 28. It's too much. So I will click twice here. I will diminish, and the auto layout will follow me. Not 8. I want to have like 4 and 4. Now I have 20. So it's it's better to align. Yeah, something like this. Let me change a little this color. Let me see this text. It's gonna be Roboto 20 bold. Okay, same one. Roboto 20 bold. Exactly like this. So now I click here, auto width. I select both of them, Shift A to make a auto layout. I go here, centralize. The distance will be 8. I click twice here and I change the alignment to right, because when I will type something, oops, not this way, I have to change more things. I will select it here, and here it has to be right, because when I will type things here, not yet. Alright, what I was trying to show, that was here. Right, constraints, because when you can even see this little line here, you can see the constraint, because when I type things here, yeah, now things go this way. I'm gonna call label, cool. I can align like this, see, label will go this way, and then we do this, I change it, the auto layout helps me, Shift H to invert. Then I have to select this one here, change to left, and the constraint will be left too. See, because now when I type, my label will be this way, and I can align like this. Cool. Label. Then we got the pagination. Pagination is already here. We are enjoying this. Then we need to name things, as you know, right? And then let's place the pagination over here. Then let me have black. Why not black? Light gray like this. Templates, they can be just, you know, shades of gray. Cool. Let me name things properly. Pagination. I can call something like dot. A little of housekeeping is good. Because I will make components with them too. So I will select these 3 guys here, open it here. I will not create a component, I will create multiple components. So I will have separated components just like this. Alright, so I was wondering if we should have the master components on this page. I wasn't sure. I will keep that for a while. Then we need to have a variation, because we need to have a button. Yes, just the button. So we draw some rectangle, or let me see the properties of this button. Roboto 20 bold. We can enjoy this thing here, right? We press Shift A. We show some color just to see what we are doing. The color might be black to be the right color. And then we have the text here inside. It's gonna be white. It's gonna be named label. Then we should increase its size like this. We should centralize like this and centralize the texture. Yeah, we could go like H just to be a little round, and let's name I don't know, main button, something like this. Okay, so we got the master. I'm still wondering, maybe I will separate the masters, yeah, because yeah, I like to know where the masters are, where they aren't. So I can copy this instance. Those three here are masters. I will move them up so we can see. No, they are instances. Actually, I have to move like this. Move for real. Now I can see, and I can drag like this, so I have them back. And the button, I can have a copy of this button. Alright, so we are going to have things like this. This size is not the way I was expecting, so I need to diminish. Oh, only the position is wrong. So I just align like this. Cool. Okay. Then you know what to do. We need to move those components to the right section, the right page. But for a while, let them here. It's not a problem. Cool. And then let's see what we can do right now. Let's understand, right? So it's important just to show what we did so far. Yeah, we did this. We skipped this part. We created templates for those things over here. And now we can replace when we have all the information that we need, we can replace. But see here, we have one atom, another atom, two together, a molecule. Here we have three atoms, right? Here we have molecules separated. We could join them. It could have something like, I don't know. I will make a component. I will shift A first. Then I will call text, because both of them, they are text, right? This one is title. You could even call information, something like this. You can be more creative, guys. Then we got this component. I can move this component like here. Then I copy. I have one instance of this component over here. Then we delete those from here. We can move it here. So we combine two atoms, right? We could even combine those two atoms, actually a molecule, two atoms, a molecule. We could combine and make one more component. Let's see, Shift A. Now I can call image, title, text, something like this, right? I can change it here, 24, then make a B component. Oops, what is that? Let me move things here. See, we have this. I will change the color over here because we got this big component, just to see what we are doing. Then we can duplicate to have this instance. You know instance, what instance is. Then we place the instance over here, right? Then we can centralize, and then we have an organism over here. We could combine these two buttons, and we can go Shift A. We can call buttons, because we got one button, two buttons, and now we have organism, right? We can make a component, name it buttons. Then we can move to, and you know, when we have instance and when we have masters, right? See, separate together. So when we need to insert, we can insert the buttons together, right? Like this, they are together. See here, buttons. Then we open, we have left and right button. So we can work this way too. Of course we can. So I think we are done here. The templates are okay, the components are done, and now it's time to organize a little better things to do what we need to do. But see here, I just want to show you the organization. We did all those elements. We have a space for the image that we will have, atoms. We did this background to the button. Then we have all those tests, not the logotype yet, but we will have title, this one here is text. We got the labels. We don't have the states yet, but we will do that later. Easy to do. Then we group a thing, like explain it. Then here too. See the organisms we did. One organism, another organism. Then we got some atoms and so. Logotype too. Let's make this logotype. Actually, let me see. I'm gonna go with you guys to the page section, right? I will duplicate those parts over here. I will hide the columns, and then the first thing that I want to do with you guys, I will select, clicking twice here, I select this image. I will come here, and then I have plugins, and I have this plugin named Unsplash. If you don't have this plugin yet, I recommend you to come here, find more plugins, and then you will type here Unsplash, and then you will select and run, install, whatever. Then when this plugin is open, it will be easier to work with images. I don't know if I showed you that before, guys, but I don't think so. So I'm gonna show right now. I will type here bakery, and then I will go to search. See, I can see many bakers images, and much probably the image that I used in this tutorial is here. See, these breads, this one here. I selected this this shape, and then I just need to click here. See what happens. Curious. Not happening the way that I imagined. Let's see. Oh, I see the reason. I selected this part here. I need to select this part here. So I will press Ctrl Z to undo, right? Then I select this part here, and I click in this image here. Now I got this image, right? The component, it's not time yet to make components. I will create only exclusively tutorials to teach you how to make, organize components, the best practices. It's not time yet. I'm just giving you a little taste of what's coming in the future, right? But if you want to change the master, see the reason that I didn't want to have the master over there. I think that I deleted this, the master of only this image. I think so, because we could like hide. No, we can't hide. Let's see if we should hide here. No, I will let it the way it is. In the future we will have things done more calmly in terms of components. So second image, I can see the image over here, so I will click here twice. See, I have this part here, image, right? I can't hide. I need to have this here, so I will select this part here, this background, and then I will apply here, this one here. You see? Actually, I want to have the three screens right here. Cool. So here I will apply this one here, and the last one, it's a cake, something like this. Let's find this cake. Beautiful cake. Doesn't have to be the same one. I like it, that one, but we can go with other images. There are many free, beautiful, cool images, right? So I solved the problem. See, we were working here in the templates level. They are components, right? Not real text yet. And now I can go with real text. For example, here, hello folks. Can copy from here. In your case, we need to type hello folks, something like this. Copy from here and place it here too, right? And we start shaping things. But I just thought about, we could have more templates with this, I think. But for a while it's okay. So here, see, we need to hide this color, right? Hide the color. And then let me think a little. I could change the color directly here, some brown. Actually, see, this is the master. Here I have a copy, so I want to make it a little brown, right? So I open it here and I apply some brown color, and the instance will be brown too. I don't know if this is the better brown, but I'm gonna go with this brown. And here too. Now I will go down and I see here it is different here and different here too. I can take this same brown here. I will copy from here, Ctrl C. I'm gonna go to the top and I'm gonna change here. Select both of them in the master, change. Yes, this is the right brown. And here I just change text, right? I type some next stuff, but component is wrong. Something is wrong. Let's see. Componentization is like this. We change in one part, then it's necessary to change in the other part too. The constraint, do you remember the constraint we worked before? The constraint will work into a page, I think so. I will design a frame here, right? Let's see. The constraint here. Yes, can you see the difference? And I will do the same here. It's important to design frames to the components so they can work properly. Let's see here. The constraint is right. In this case, I will draw a frame here too. Let's see when they are together. See, one is pushing the other, and I don't want this. What I want to have here, I will select. I will open it here. Packet will be space between. Now let's test. They respect each other, right? So when we do components, we need to step back to them and work more, adjust things. It's part of our job. So now we can change this next, and we have no problem. Next here too. Perfect. And here we have, in this moment, we don't have this button here. So we need to hide from here. But if we hide, see what happens. And I don't want that. A little tricky people do here is going 0 opacity. So I have the space, but I don't have the button. Let's apply the colors to the little dots, to the pagination. Selected, unselected. I go to the master. The beauty of working with master components is this. I change in one place and all the places, see, are changed. See here too, the beauty. This color too. Whoops, my god. Copy from here. Go to the master. And I change in the master pagination. Cool. And now we got this button. The color will be the same color of this selected part, selected state. So see, label. When we go down, we got the label like this, and here too. See, it's cool. And for this back button, we can work like this. And then when we need, we change the color straight in the instance. See here, it should be something like this, right? We can change in the instance. In this case, it's possible. I'm showing you that there are many possibilities of working, and there is no a unique exclusive way. We can work in several ways. Like in this case, we have this first option here. I could have different components. I could have different ways of working here. But to diminish the complexity, I can just come here and change this color, because the focus of this tutorial is to teach you, how to make your first prototypes, right? This is the proposal. So I'm trying to diminish the complexity and at the same time showing you many different things. Let me see the distance here. It's gonna be, let's think, in the middle of the screen, maybe in the middle of the screen. Let's see. $15, it's wrong. I'm gonna go to the master and change it here in the master. 16, 8 pixels grid, you know. Then come back to the instance. From here to here, 24, 8 pixels grid, it's okay. 40, 8 pixels grid, it's okay. Here, 48 would be okay. Yeah, middle of the screen, 40, and centralize it. Cool, now it's okay. Next here, previous. The image here, I don't know what I did wrong. I need to call Unsplash again. So I come here and I go in plugins, and then I go to Unsplash. Then bakery again. Remembering that those images are free. Yeah, I typed it wrong. Bakery. Those images, they are free, so we can use as much as we can, and we will have no problems. I'm gonna copy from here, like handmade. Our recipes have been just our recipe. What? The way I typed it before, no problem. Yes, we got the space, but see, we increased this text, so select here and here, and let's have the same space. That was 40, I don't remember. 40, yes. But I need to centralize again, yeah. I could have used auto layout to solve this problem, but now I'm already working. I go this way. Ready to order, pretty cool. Ready to order. I am copying and pasting, but you have to type like I did before. I type it, and now it's your time to type. I can break the line like this by my own, right? I don't need to wait for, oh, it's not a component here. Curious. I will move like this. I will copy this one. I will centralize like this. I want to run the Unsplash plugin again. Bakery again. Search again. I want to have something juicy, tasteful, like this. Cool. Now I can close. I can centralize if that's not centralized yet. Then I will copy the text from here. I will copy this from here too. I will delete this trash from here. Copy this pagination, and I will position the button 32 and here 40. Yeah, it's okay. 8 pixels grid, it's pretty okay. Now we just have to let me apply the shadows because I like shadows. Yeah, just for a matter of presentation here in Figma and maybe in the prototype, but when it will go properly to production to be released, this shadow won't appear. Just a matter of some eye candy. Some designers, we have some mania, some ways that we can't change. Alright, it's almost done, guys. I could increase those images if I want to have some large images. What I need to do, I need to go to the master, and then let's see if I can increase image. Let's fix it. Yes, I can. See, I can go here, like, let me see. I change it in the master part. See, all of them, they increase it too. But there is some messy over here. I have to adjust again, right? To go in the 8 pixels grid. 16, no, 24, no, 32, 40. Maybe something like this, just to demonstrate again, to reinforce that we can work with masters like this. I could apply some shadow too. I go to the master, I can select here, go to the master, select this image, effects, I'm gonna have some shadow, then I change 16 here, 16 here, 0 here. I don't know if that's going to be cool. Let me try some stroke too, but some brown like this, and let's see what happens. Let me come back to the instance. Yeah, some decoration, yeah, some some little thing. Start using Big Bread. Our app is named Big Bread. Then we need to change it here. Like I told you before, I could have done components for change it easily, but I wanted to diminish this curve of making and learning this new thing. Okay, let's make this Big Bread. Big Bread, it is rounded. I picked up some different font, so you can do it by yourself. 24. So I typed something like big, then I copied Big Bread, right? The font I had this font installed on my computer, and I think that it's standard when we install Figma, because I don't remember installing this font separated. So yeah, you can pick up other font. It's 24 auto. Then let's draw this little croissant. So to do this, I will copy from here. I want to go out of this place because I don't want to messy anything here. So I just copy like this. And then I draw something like this. Like this too. Doesn't have to be perfect, trust me. I follow you guys. Then I apply some fill. I remove the stroke, right? I pick up the same color, and then I will make it more round like this. It seems like a video game, some joystick, some control. Cool. Then we can cut, like I will press Ctrl Shift O. So I did this outline stroke. Now I can do some slices. So I will copy this little thing here. Then I will draw something like this. See, like I said before, doesn't need to be perfect. Oops, I don't want to curves. So fill, no stroke. See, this look and feel. So then I copy it, I rotate a little, press enter, select 2 points. I have more freedom to rotate, do things like this, like that. So we saw that before in other tutorials, so it won't be a problem for you, I'm quite sure. Then I select both of them. I come here and then I go union selection. Then I duplicate, Shift H, select again. I go again, union selection. I open it again, flat selection. Select all of them. I open it here, subtract selection. And then I open it here again in flat selection. Then I will explain that later, like I told you before. My intention is to make more tutorials of illustration and so. So I will select all of those elements here in this top part, and then I will do this. See, some of them are cool, some are not cool. I can remove these points. I select the point that I don't want and I press Shift Backspace. Or Shift delete also, I think, works. Okay, now I can select, I can come here, let's see what happens. Yes, it's similar, right? Can change it here too, just a little. So I got my croissant, and I expect you guys to have done your croissants. We can press Ctrl-Shift-O, then we can click twice, and we can select using Shift all the tails and move a little like this. If you don't like a lot of space, we can move parts like this, and like this. Now it's more together. The typography will have the same color. Then we select all the elements, Shift A. We can call logo. All details, like here, we can call elements. Select the auto layout, click here, diminish to 4 the space between the elements. And now we can make it a component named logo. Boom, it's a component. Let me delete this one here. I will place. Then we have to make some housekeeping over here, right? Because it's a little messy. But I showed you before how to organize components, and so I won't waste the time. It's really precious we have with these little details. And it's important to see if the logo it has the same size. I'm gonna convert, Ctrl-Shift-O. See what happened. Now let's see the size that I had here. Logo. I already have this logo here. 146 36. What I can do over here, actually, I will, sometimes we don't need to have, we don't want to have more components, so we can detach. It's important to show. I don't know if I showed you before. We can come here, right click, and we have this option here. What is that? No, I can't because it's a master. I have to duplicate first, then I go like detach instance. It's not a component anymore, it's just elements, group it with auto layout and things it had before. Yeah, then I can delete this main here. And what I can do in this case, let's suppose that I was doing the layouts and I didn't have the right logotype, so I designed whatever thing, and then the team, the marketing team, something like this, sent me the logotype, and now I can place the logotype in the place it should be before. So what I can do here, see, I can place inside of the master. I can measure the distance, I can align things the way they should be aligned. Let's see what happens. See, in all the places that I needed to have the logotype, I will have. It's magic. And I have the spacing inside too. Well, when I move things, they are together because, see, the structure, you can see here. I have this big, I can call, yeah, big. I have the element and I have the bread. And I have the background. I could call that background, for instance. It's better because the background right now, as you know, I can hide the background and I have just the space in between. And the spacing, you know, we can come here like, oh, I have to adjust that. I want to have 8 pixels grid. Why not 8 here? On top 8. So I have to diminish the logotype. See, many broken numbers. First thing, I will remove the broken numbers like this, and then I have to scale. I can show again my background, and then I can diminish like this. For example, I can go like, I press K, for example, like I showed you before. There are many ways to solve this problem, and I'm just showing some of them. Maybe it will not be perfect like here, see? So what I can do, I can go the better possible, see? Yeah, but it's important not distorting the logotype. So there are many ways to work with that too, but you know the point. I showed you before many times. Yeah, we could remove even the auto layout, like Ctrl-Shift-G, you know, see, yes, it's kind of broken now. You know, yeah, the importance is if the logo is inside of this box and respecting the 8 pixels grid, it's okay, really, trust me. And now we can see the logotype around, see, logo everywhere. We have the right text now, and we have the states, like I showed you before. I could create components for the states, for each one of the states. I don't know if that's a good idea for now, because like I told you before, we will create many tutorials related to components. They will be specific for creating components, organizing components, so I will skip this part for now. Just want to show you what we could have here. And now it's time to make the prototype itself. Oh Lord. So a little of housekeeping, like normally I like to do. And you too, I think so. This, yeah, some round like this. Name the frames properly. You know, I want to do that all the frames, but I recommend you to do pages like normally we do, right? Here too, create a page. Here, do all the housekeeping. Yeah. So here we did templates. For this reason we skip it. But here, yeah, I could bring here to the ideation these templates too. Why not? But it's not the case. And let's go to the final stage of this long tutorial. Okay, time to make the prototype. I showed you before. Now it's gonna be easier. I will call this screen 1, screen 2, and of course screen 3. Okay, now let's go to prototype section. I will select only this next here. Make sure clicking twice, as you know. I connected here. On click, navigate to screen 2. Instant, perfect. Then in other tutorials I will show all the parameters over here and animations and so, but for a while only this. Whoops, I will remove, there are things here that shouldn't be here, because we were doing prototypes before, do you remember? So things are being connected to wrong places and I don't wanna that now. Just removing like this and like this. Let me see if something is left. No, really. Then see, we got this first interaction, right? Then we need to have this second interaction. So we have this flow, this starting point. Sometimes it appears like this and we need to move like this to the first screen, right? And then we change the name, clicking here, flow 2, we come here, final prototype, something like this. Then let's test, click here in this little icon. See, it's beautiful. Click here, it's changing. We need to make the link back. And I think there is some issues in the design. It's not well aligned, I think so. That should be here. 8 pixels grid like I showed you before. the middle of the screens. 40, 48, it's okay. 49, yes. These little details, they make a lot of difference in the end, trust me. So measuring to the end of the page, to the bottom, it's not a problem. If the bottom is not pair, it's not the number that we want, it's not a problem. Come back to prototype, play again. See, when we go from one screen to the other, things are not out of place, if you know what I'm trying to say. So it's time to do the link back. Yeah, and let's connect the little dots like I showed you before. Zoom in, click twice, make sure we are selecting the right element. We can press and hold Control. Control helps us to select what we want. This link is back, this link is ahead, this link is to this screen, this link is to this screen. And now let's test again. So we can navigate like this, we can go previews, we can go next, next, and this is our very first prototype. There is just one thing that I am not liking the way I expect to like. I want to bring all those components a little up. 1, 2, 3. I press and hold shift and then I go 8 pixels grid like I showed you before. So I think that I prefer to have things like this. 24. A little up like this. Not H1 but H. Yeah. And here H. Yeah, I think that I prefer now. Let's test again. Come back to prototype. When I want to design, I go to the design tab. When I want to prototype, I go to prototype tab. So final prototype. Now see. Yeah, cool. Our very first prototype. So there is one thing more. If you don't remember where the links are, we can click out like this and we can see, oh, I have 3 parts to click, 3 interactive elements. So I can click here. Now see, now I have more. I have 4 interactive elements. So every time that you don't remember where you want to go, you can do like this. So guys, this tutorial is over. I really hope that you liked it because I like it making this tutorial for you. And stay tuned because I will be back bringing more tutorial here on this channel. Thank you for having watched and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.